Good morning, everyone. My name is Nic Newing, and I'm a professional geek. I've worked within the IT industry for over 20 years now, and it's a profession that I both love and support passionately. And it's the changes and advancements within this industry that brings me to you today. So to be clear, I am here to implore you to keep up to date with technology, not just with your skills, but with your expectations, as I believe that we are already in the middle of a massive jump in technological advancement. So the best way to do this is to give you an overview of technology from past, present and future, and then what I'd like to do is just offer you some advice from an insider's perspective. So I'm sure that we can all agree that technology already moves so fast. You buy the latest smartphone and within a couple of years there's a bigger, better model available. Same with computers. You buy an all-singing, all-dancing computer, and within 4 to 5 years it's obsolete. And it's frustrating, I know, but I'm here to tell you that it's only going to get worse. So the best way to explain this is Gordon Moore. Now, he came up with something called Moore's Law, which states that the number of transistors in an integrated circuit board doubles every 2 years. This Moore's Law has since been broadened to encompass technology as a whole. So the speed of technology doubles and the size of technology halves, etc., etc. So to illustrate this mammoth thing is one of the first early hard disks. This had a storage capacity of 256 megabytes. This data stick has a capacity of 64 gigabytes. This has 256 times the capacity of that. To give you another example, on the left here we have an 8 megabyte memory card from an early PlayStation. On the right, a 64 gig SD card. This has 8,000 times the capacity of that, and that's just in 14 years. And this is Moore's Law in full effect. So if we apply this law against computing technology, we get this sort of incremental curve that basically shows that Moore's Law was pretty much bang on, and to date has been consistent with expectation. Now, the reason I say to date is because a few years ago, many industry experts believed that Moore's Law would slow down, that the advancements, the developments would get further apart. This, however, was quite wrong, and rather than slowing down, technological advancements are about to make a giant spike in this chart. So there are so many new fantastic technologies coming out at the moment, and I've picked just a couple to hopefully demonstrate how these are going to change our lives. So the first and fundamentally most important of all these new technologies is quantum computing. Now, before you all glaze over and start daydreaming about what you're going to have for dinner tonight, I'm not going to go into any detail here, not least because I don't fully understand the topic myself, but here are the headlines. And I'm going to use a company called D-Wave as an example here because D-Wave are the first company to make commercially available quantum computers. So there is a quantum computer called the D-Wave 1 that was tested to be several times faster than the fastest supercomputer we have today. Several times faster. That's pretty impressive. However, the latest quantum computer from D-Wave is the D-Wave 2X. And this was tested back in June 2015, I believe it was, as being 300,000 times faster than the D-Wave 1. Just to put that in perspective, that is 4,000 times faster than the fastest supercomputer cluster that we have today. 4,000 times. And this is where we see the spike in Moore's Law. And this is not something that's just an impressive theory. This is something that's in practice today. So NASA has one of these quantum computers to sift through the vast amounts of data it gets back from its many telescopes in orbit. CERN in Switzerland, where they have their Large Hadron Collider, they have a quantum computer to decipher the petabytes of data that get thrown back every time they fire their little tennis balls around the Swiss countryside. And I realise I just very oversimplified something that was very technical there. The potential for quantum computing is staggering, and we're going to see more and more benefits and uses for quantum computing over the next few years as this technology becomes more and more available. Okay, so how about something a little less headache-inducing? Looking at new tech and that will benefit businesses over the next few years, I can't help but turn to virtual and augmented reality. Now, a lot of you will have seen virtual reality, lots of people wandering around with headsets and smacking into walls. And whereas this technology is advancing at incredible rates and showing really impressive results, I can't help but think that augmented or mixed reality holds better scope for businesses and for everyday life. Now, the best example I can find of this is Microsoft HoloLens. Now, this is going to be released within the Windows 10 timeframe, and essentially it will allow you to overlay high-quality holograms on the real world. Now, this technology is still in its infancy, but once it gets sort of more developed, the possibilities will be endless. For example, so I work for an international company, and we constantly have trouble trying to fill design positions from the resources available to us in this area of the country. With this technology, you can hire from anywhere in the world, and you can have several designers all interacting with the same model in a virtual meeting room. Please check out this technology, and in particular, a company called Magic Leap. It's going to be massive. So, we've established that advancements in technology are ramping up and look to remain that way for the foreseeable future. So with that in mind, what I'd like to do is just offer you some advice from an insider's perspective to hopefully sort of clear up a few of the larger sort of issues and barriers when it comes to technology. Okay, so firstly, the workplace will change. It is widely believed that within the next 5 years, 20% of all jobs that exist today will have been automated. That prediction extends to 50% at 10 years and 80% at 20 years. Now, even if the advent of technology doesn't sort of change this in such a severe way, technology will still affect jobs. I mean, take doctors, for example. They will be able to concentrate more on patient care and leave robots to do the diagnosis. People will be able to work more and more from home or remote locations. We're moving over to a more project-centred workforce. Dr. Carl Frey from Oxford University said recently that our parents had careers, we have jobs, and our children will have gigs. And it's widely believed that you will end up contracting your skills and services to individual projects and then move on to the next tender. Okay, so don't think you need to know it all. IT and tech is a massive topic, and it can be extremely daunting when trying to kick off some sort of training. So please don't think you need to know it all, as that will pretty much be near impossible. Try and get a basic understanding of all technologies and how they interact, and only then learn what takes your fancy, so networking or security or coding, etc. Each of these topics is a lifetime of training on its own. Don't let us confuse you. There is nothing we IT guys like more than an acronym. HTML, VM, JS, CSS. If you are confused about a topic or just simply require some clarification, please just ask. As in my experience, 90% of techies love talking about their subject and what they do. And don't be afraid to ask us to translate what we're talking about. It can often be an actual other language. So please just ask for an explanation in plain English. The best example I found of this is the cloud. Now, I get this question on an almost daily basis, sort of, what is the cloud? And I found the best response online. There is no cloud. It's all just someone else's computer. This industry, more than any other, is guilty of unnecessary complexity and confusing terminology. Don't let the media scare you. I've seen many sensationalist headlines warning of the dark web and ransomware and hacking. And whereas, yes, these are a thing, they should not become a barrier to you expanding your skills and capabilities. Now, the best way I've found to describe this is to realise that the online world mirrors society. And just as with human society, you have to take the good with the bad. Take the dark web, for example. So the media would have us believe that it's all drugs and pornography. However, it's, as with most things these days, it's not that black and white. The dark web allows for anonymity. And yes, this can and is being used by criminals, but it's also being used by activists. And it's also being used by whistleblowers. And it's also being used to topple oppressive regimes. It's never as black and white as you think. And I ask you to do your own research here, preferably away from the tabloids. So Why doesn't it just work? That's one I get a lot as well. Please manage your expectations when it comes to IT. Computer hardware and software is designed by people for the use of people, and as such, it is fallible. There will be mistakes and problems with anything that has human intervention, so please be patient. And if you do experience a problem and you are asked to switch it off and switch it back on again, please note that we do know what we're doing. We're not trying to wind you up with this. So power cycling, as we like to call it, it re-authenticates your credentials, it clears error logs and a whole raft of other things, and it's just easier for us to request that you guys do this rather than take 10-15 minutes walking through all these steps individually. Have a voice. Incredibly important. The technological landscape is shifting, and when it comes to IT, and again, as with human society, it seems like those with the loudest voices are the only ones being heard, and it's our responsibility as digital citizens to ensure that our rights are being protected and upheld. There are many cyber issues being debated by our governments at the moment, such as encryption or net neutrality, that's going to affect us all. And we all need a foundation of understanding to ensure that we're not being taken advantage of. I implore you to research these areas yourself and offer an opinion, or sign a petition, or just take a stance. Whatever it may be, just have a voice. Okay, so to wrap up, technology that was once a nice little bolt-on for our lives, an entertainment or an assistance that sat in our peripheral, is now not becoming, but already become a core and central part of our society and lives. There is a quote from Joseph Woodcrutch that says, "Technology made large populations possible, large populations make technology indispensable," and it is this concept that I hope to impart today. These topics are just starting points to hopefully inspire you to start a digital project, to write some code, or to join a forum, or to video call someone in another country, or perhaps just look at some new upcoming technology and think about how it's going to benefit you and those around you, rather than being held back by understanding or by fear or by expectation. Expanding your technical knowledge will not only allow you to better protect yourself and your interest within this digital society, but it will also allow you access to the beauty and wonder that this topic offers. And thank you for listening.